So good, you're doing so good. After party tonight. Yeah!
You're gonna hear about my parties, they're gonna be shutting them down, they're gonna probably be arresting me, doing all types of crazy things just because we wanna have a good time.
Sean Diddy Combs has received a new set of lawsuits from alleged victims of including from one woman who claims he and an unnamed celebrity were at 13 years old.
A 12-year-old girl, Hollywood's most powerful men, a party shrouded in secrecy, and now, years later, shocking allegations come to light.
After party
Daveigh Chase, once the darling of Hollywood, vanished from the spotlight after a fateful night with A-listers like Ashton Kutcher and Diddy. Why is her name suddenly resurfacing now?
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, can't tell that one either.
Your parties are the hottest ticket around.
They won't even give me a permit for the parties, man. They don't want me to throw the parties no more.
Was this just another celebrity party or something far more sinister? And how did Danny Masterson, now convicted, fit into all of this?
Danny Masterson was sentenced to 30 years in prison after being convicted of those earlier this year.
Stay tuned as we unravel the disturbing truth behind Hollywood's dark side and why Daveigh Chase is finally breaking her silence. Daveigh Chase was once the face of innocence in Hollywood, the star of The Ring, the voice behind Lilo and Stitch, and even the English voice of Chihiro in Studio Ghibli's Spirited Away. Her talent and charm captivated audiences worldwide.
It's all you! Knock 'em dead! It's all you! Knock 'em dead!
But behind the glitz and glamour, Daveigh's story took a troubling turn. A turn that started with an invitation to a 2003 VMA after-party, hosted by none other than Sean Diddy Combs. At the time, she was just 12 years old, and while the world marveled at her talent, no one knew the dark truth lurking behind closed doors. So, let's start from the beginning. Daveigh Chase's story starts in Las Vegas, Nevada, where she was born on July 24, 1990. Growing up in the small town of Albany, Oregon, Daveigh had what seemed like a normal childhood. But even at a young age, it was clear she wasn't an ordinary kid. By the time she was just 3 years old, she was already stealing the spotlight with her singing and dancing at local events. Her parents recognized her talent early on and encouraged her to chase her dreams in the entertainment industry. By the age of 7, Daveigh got her first taste of the big leagues when she starred in a Campbell's soup commercial. Her natural charm and on-screen presence made her stand out, and it wasn't long before more opportunities came knocking. Around the same time, she was offered a lead role in a musical theater production called Utah, a big deal for any kid, let alone one just starting out. Things really took off when she began auditioning for TV shows and movies. By age 8, Daveigh had already landed her first major TV gig and was testing for roles left and right. Though some early projects didn't pan out, her persistence paid off. By 2003, she snagged a role on Fox's Oliver Bean, playing Oliver's quirky best friend, Joyce. This was just the beginning of a career that was about to explode. Daveigh's career-defining moment came in 2002 when Disney chose her as the voice of Lilo in the animated classic Lilo and Stitch. This wasn't just another Disney movie, it became a cultural phenomenon. Lilo was spunky, smart, and full of heart, and Daveigh's voice brought her to life in a way that resonated with audiences all over the world. The movie was a huge hit, and the line, "Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten," became one of the most memorable quotes of the time.
Ohana means family. Family means
nobody gets left behind.
Or
forgotten.
Daveigh's performance wasn't just about reading lines. It was about making Lilo feel real. She made you laugh, cry, and cheer for a little girl who was just trying to hold her family together. Disney loved her so much that they had her voice Lilo for the Lilo and Stitch TV series, video games, and other spin-offs. She wasn't just a kid playing a part. She was now a major name in the entertainment world. While most people loved Daveigh for her sweet and lovable Lilo voice, she took a sharp turn in her career with a completely different role. In 2002, she terrified audiences as Samara Morgan in The Ring. Remember that creepy girl crawling out of the TV? That was Daveigh Chase. Her haunting performance earned her the MTV Movie Award for Best Villain, and it's safe to say she earned it. The role solidified her status as more than just a child star. It showed the world she could handle intense, dramatic, and downright scary roles.
just want to say,
What's wild is that in the same year, she also voiced Chihiro in Spirited Away, the English-dubbed version of Hayao Miyazaki's masterpiece. The film went on to win the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature, making Daveigh part of not just one, but two iconic projects in the same year. By the time she was 12, Daveigh Chase had accomplished more than most people do in a lifetime. She was balancing major roles in movies, TV shows, and voice acting, all while navigating the pressures of growing up. She was described by directors and co-stars as being wise beyond her years, with an incredible work ethic. But being a young star isn't all glitz and glamour. Hollywood can be tough, especially on kids. The constant pressure, lack of privacy, and the industry's darker side can take a toll. And while Daveigh seemed to have it all, things weren't as perfect as they appeared. Just as quickly as she rose to fame, Daveigh started to disappear from the spotlight. By her late teens, she wasn't landing as many big roles, and fans began to wonder what had happened to the girl who had once been everywhere. Some thought she had simply grown tired of Hollywood and wanted a normal life. Others whispered about darker reasons, rumors about the exploitation of child stars and the toxic environment that often surrounds young actors. You see, back in 2003, Daveigh was invited to one of Diddy's legendary after-parties. In fact, a resurfaced video clip of the incident has recently gone viral amid the mounting charges of SA and abuse against him, giving the rapper a fresh headache. In the 2003 clip, Sean Diddy, the embattled rapper, can be seen inviting a then 12-year-old child actress, Daveigh Chase, to an MTV after-party.
It's an after party tonight.
The video, which is now circulating widely on social media, is now raising eyebrows as the rapper and businessman awaits trials on charges of ST-afficking and racketeering. In the disturbing clip, the 54-year-old Sean Diddy Combs can be seen approaching the then 12-year-old The Ring actress backstage at the 2003 MTV Movie Awards. He is seen chatting with Daveigh Chase and asks if she's coming to the after-party tonight as he holds a drink near his mouth. However, it remains unclear whether Chase attended the party or not. According to Page 6, Combs and the girl seemingly met earlier in the night when he and a then 25-year-old Ashton Kutcher presented her with the Best Villain Award for her role as Samara in the horror film The Ring. While accepting her the award, Ashton Kutcher hovered over her, telling her she was doing so good, and gently rubbed her shoulder.
So good, you're doing so good.
I just want to say,
Soon after the video went viral on the internet, netizens took to social media to call out the disgraced rapper as sick, gross, and disgusting. How did it take this long for Diddy to be arrested? Nobody thought it was odd he was inviting 13-year-olds to his parties. This was approved and encouraged at the highest levels, wrote one ex-user. Diddy did all this publicly. Imagine what happened behind closed doors. I hope they lock him up for life, another one said. Many also slammed Kutcher for patting Chase's arms. Is that Ashton Kutcher creeping behind? Remarked one more user, while another said, there is no hell deep enough or punishment strong enough for this group of predatory serial Rs and child Mers. In any case, these parties were notorious for their exclusivity and over-the-top antics, often attended by Hollywood elites. But what raised eyebrows wasn't just the party itself. It was the guest list. Among the attendees were Ashton Kutcher, Danny Masterson, and Diddy himself. You see, all these people are either directly or indirectly linked to SA crimes. For starters, we have Ashton, who has not only been Diddy's partner in crime for the longest time, but also supported Danny when his SA lawsuits began. You see, many people don't realize that Ashton Kutcher and Diddy go way back. Sean Combs has gone by a million names over the years, started out in the 90s in NYC, back when he was P. Diddy, then Puffy, then Just Love. He launched Bad Boy Records in '93, which eventually became Bad Boy Entertainment, one of the biggest names in the music biz. And he didn't just bring any old artist with him. He brought the notorious Big, aka Christopher Wallace. That name alone was making Bad Boy Entertainment some millions a year at one point.
Puffy has been making money off of Biggie's name for longer than Biggie was alive. People keep forgetting he hadn't turned 25 yet. He was still 24 when he died.
But here's the thing. Combs wasn't just making headlines because of his music. Oh no, he was all over the place. Fashion, TV shows, you name it. And this is where things get interesting. Combs found himself rubbing elbows with another A-lister, Ashton Kutcher. Yep, that's right, Diddy and Ashton were tight.
Our relationship was really bizarre. We became fast friends, and we used to just hang out, watch football together. And he came over and I was like, I'm going for a run. He's like, oh, I'll go for a run with you. And so he comes over to go for a run.
So how did these two link up? It all started with Punk'd. You remember that prank show on MTV, right? But Combs didn't stop there. He also produced a bunch of seasons of Making the Band on MTV, where wannabe stars competed to make it big. And during all of this, Ashton and Diddy were often spotted together. At events, parties, you name it. Ashton was a regular at Diddy's famous Labor Day white party back in 2010. You know, those bougie events where everyone wears white and things probably get wild behind the scenes. Here's a fun tidbit. When Time magazine named Ashton one of the 100 most influential people that year, Diddy gushed over him, saying, "Ashton Kutcher is a sounding board for me. Like me, he's a mogul, a new media mogul, but we're like yin and yang. I'm in your face, and he's all cool and suave." Cute, right? Fast forward to 2019, and Ashton's on Hot Ones, getting grilled by Sean Evans while eating spicy wings. Of course, the topic of Diddy's legendary parties came up, and let's just say Ashton had a lot of stories he couldn't tell.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, can't tell that one either.
With Diddy facing charges that include everything from ST ficking to racketeering, people are now wondering if Ashton Kutcher knew more than he's letting on. In any case, Ashton Kutcher is definitely not the innocent party in all of this. You see, last year, Ashton and Mila found themselves knee-deep in controversy, and it's all thanks to some resurfaced clips like these.
And she's one of the girls that we're all waiting for to turn 18. Along with the Olsen twins.
Apparently, the Kutchers faced backlash, which stemmed from them backing Danny Masterson, who has already faced legal consequences due to allegations of SA.
Breaking news, Danny Masterson has just been sentenced to 30 years to life in prison and has been ordered to register as an offender. A jury convicted the actor on 2 counts of in May. Masterson was charged with 3 women at his Hollywood Hills home.
After the Kutchers' outspoken support for the accused, Christina Ricci boldly called them out, triggering a cascade of revelations about their own history. In a stark white font against a dramatic black background, Christina shared her sentiments, saying, "Unfortunately, I've known lots of awesome guys who were lovely to me who have been proven to be abusers privately. I've also had personal experience with this. Believe victims. It's not easy to come forward. It's not easy to get a conviction." In a separate slide, she continued, "So sometimes people we have loved and admired do horrible things. They might not do these things to us, and we only know who they were to us, but that doesn't mean they didn't do the horrible things, and to discredit the abused is a crime. People we know as awesome guys can be predators and abusers. It's tough to accept, but we have to. If we say support victims, women, children, men, boys, then we must be able to take this stance," the note concluded. While Christina Ricci didn't drop any names, her social media posts left little to the imagination, seemingly aimed at the celebrity couple currently embroiled in a whirlwind of controversy. None other than Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. These two have been under the microscope for their unwavering support of Masterson. For context, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis wrote to the court as character references, urging to offer Masterson leniency in letters dated between July and August last year, after he was convicted in May of the same year for SA. In his letter obtained by The Hollywood Reporter, Kutcher referred to his co-star as a role model with exceptional character and explained that Masterson was the reason Kutcher didn't fall into drugs. Anytime that we were to meet someone or interact with someone who was on drugs or did drugs, he made it clear that that wouldn't be a good person to be friends with, the Your Place or Mine star wrote. Kunis wrote in her letter that Masterson had been an exceptional older brother figure to her. She also touted his avoidance of drugs, which inspired her to stay away from substances. Danny's steadfastness in promoting a drug-free lifestyle has been a guiding light in my journey through the entertainment world and has helped me prioritize my well-being and focus on making responsible choices, the Friends with Benefits actress added. The married duo decided to address the brewing storm with a joint video apology that hit the internet on a sultry Saturday afternoon. In their confession, they spilled the beans about how the Mastersons family had asked them to vouch for their 25-year acquaintance. They said,
A couple months ago, Danny's family reached out to us and they asked us to write character letters to represent the person that we knew for 25 years.
so that the judge could take that into full consideration relative to the sentencing.
Kutcher then added, they were intended for the judge to read and not to undermine the testimony of the victims or re-traumatize them in any way. We would never want to do that, and we're sorry if that has taken place. Last year, U.S. actor Danny Masterson was sentenced to serve 30 years to life in prison for essaying 2 women. Masterson starred on That 70s Show, a TV series that was airing at the time of his crimes in the early 2000s. Prosecutors argued Masterson had relied on his status as a prominent Scientologist to avoid accountability. Judge Charlene Olmedo allowed the victims of his crimes to read impact statements in court ahead of his sentencing. Prominent former Scientologist and actress Leah Remini attended Thursday's hearing and comforted the women before and after they delivered their statements. I wished I had reported him earlier to the police, one of the women said, according to U.S. media. Another woman told Masterson, I forgive you. Your sickness is no longer mine to bear, according to Reuters. Masterson remained silent throughout the hearing. As the judge read his sentence, the maximum penalty allowed, his wife, Bijou Phillips, was seen in court breaking down in tears. Masterson was found guilty in May at a retrial after the first jury was unable to reach a verdict in 2022. Following his conviction, Masterson was deemed a flight risk and was taken into prison custody. The actor was convicted after 3 women testified that he had SA'd them at his Hollywood home from 2001 to 2003 during the height of his television fame. The jury heard testimony that he had given them drugs before he assaulted them. He was found guilty of SA against 2 of his 3 accusers. The charges brought by the third accuser were declared a mistrial, and prosecutors said they do not plan to retry the case. Allison Anderson, a lawyer representing 2 of the victims, said in a statement sent to BBC News that the women have displayed tremendous strength and bravery by coming forward to law enforcement and participating directly in 2 grueling criminal trials. Despite persistent harassment, obstruction, and intimidation, these courageous women helped hold a ruthless SP dater accountable today, she said. Anyway, Daveigh Chase wasn't the first or last child star to find herself in questionable company. Hollywood has a long history of exploiting young talent, masking predatory behavior under the guise of mentorship. While Ashton Kutcher has largely avoided consequences, the fallouts for Danny Masterson and Diddy have been monumental. Their arrests have reignited conversations about who else might be hiding skeletons in their closets. In any case, Daveigh Chase seemed destined for stardom. After mesmerizing audiences as the haunting Samara Morgan in The Ring and warming hearts as the voice of Lilo in Lilo and Stitch, she became a household name practically overnight. However, her promising career took an unexpected turn. After years of captivating performances, Daveigh slowly faded from the Hollywood scene, leaving fans to wonder what went wrong. Her disappearance wasn't immediate, it was gradual, almost like watching a star dim over time. One moment she was headlining cult classics, and the next her career seemed to stall. So what happened to the girl who terrified us with a simple glance? Daveigh Chase's portrayal of Samara in The Ring is still considered one of the most chilling performances in horror history. It's rare for a child actor to leave such a profound impact, but Daveigh did just that. Her performance was so iconic that it set the tone for the entire franchise.
You don't want to hurt anyone.
But I do. And I'm sorry.
However, as The Ring sequels rolled out, fans were surprised that she didn't return to play Samara. Instead of filming new scenes, the producers chose to use archival footage of her from the first film, ensuring that her eerie presence remained in the series without her direct involvement. Some speculate that Daveigh's absence was her choice. Maybe she wanted to avoid being typecast as the creepy girl, or felt she had already done everything she could with the character. Others believe the studio simply didn't reach out to her for the sequels, opting instead for a quicker, cheaper option by reusing old footage. Regardless of the reason, this marked the first significant gap in her career, and fans began to notice her pulling back from the limelight. Her final significant acting role came in 2016 when she starred in the thriller American Romance. The movie, which followed the story of a serial killer known as the Diorama Killer, had a premise that sounded intriguing on paper. Unfortunately, it failed to resonate with audiences or critics. Reviews were harsh, with some calling the film dull and icky. For Daveigh, this seemed to mark the end of her acting journey. As her acting career wound down, troubling news about Daveigh's personal life began to emerge. In 2017, she made headlines for her arrest in connection with a stolen car. Reports indicated that Daveigh had been riding in a vehicle reported as stolen, though the details of her involvement remained murky. Regardless, the incident painted a picture of a young woman struggling to stay on the right path. Then, in 2018, Daveigh found herself in even deeper trouble. She was charged with possession of a controlled substance without a valid prescription and possession of drug paraphernalia. These charges were serious, carrying the potential for a year in jail and a hefty fine. While the exact circumstances surrounding the arrest weren't fully disclosed, it became clear that Daveigh was battling personal demons. Substance abuse and legal troubles are sadly all too common for former child stars. Many young actors are thrust into fame before they're emotionally prepared to handle it. And the pressures of maintaining a public image can take a toll. For Daveigh, it seemed like the combination of early success and the challenges of transitioning to adulthood had caught up with her. By 2018, it was clear that Daveigh had stepped away from Hollywood. She hadn't appeared in a major film or TV project in years, and her legal troubles hinted at a life in turmoil. Some fans speculated that she had chosen to leave the entertainment industry to focus on her personal well-being. Others wondered if the industry had simply moved on without her, leaving her with fewer opportunities to showcase her talent. There's also the possibility that Daveigh simply grew tired of the Hollywood grind. Acting can be a demanding career, especially for someone who started so young. After years of auditions, long filming schedules, and living under the scrutiny of the public eye, she might have decided to prioritize her mental health and personal happiness over the fleeting rewards of fame. Today, Daveigh Chase remains a mystery. She's largely disappeared from the public eye, and her social media presence is minimal. Occasionally, fans catch glimpses of her life through rare posts, but for the most part, she's chosen to stay out of the spotlight. It's unclear if Daveigh plans to return to acting. While some fans hold out hope that she'll make a comeback, others believe she's retired for good. If her story tells us anything, it's that fame doesn't always lead to happiness. Sometimes stepping away is the best thing a person can do for themselves. As the public waits for Daveigh to share her full story, the spotlight turns to Hollywood's accountability. How many more stars have similar tales of exploitation and betrayal? And will those responsible ever face justice? Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.